Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. This is Nick with Thorium Infolytics, and I am here today with my friend Robert Vance. Him and I are in a mastermind group together, and we got to talking last week in our weekly setup and realized that we had a lot in common, but one of the big things that he deals with is the Fix Your Funnel program, the texting platform. He, in fact, is a certified consultant with Fix Your Funnels. And I know in my world of insurance agents, that's something that's very popular right now. A lot of people have questions. So I wanted to do an interview with Robert today just to kind of get some expertise on Fix Your Funnels, best practices, how to be a good steward of that platform. So he's going to chat about that a little bit. And the name of your company, Robert, is NitroGo Marketing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you work primarily with, I've made notes here, coaches, consultants, and financial advisors doing primarily lead generation, funnel optimization, and then email and text follow-up. Is that correct?
Yep. That sums it up.
So tell us a little bit more about your business and kind of what you do and how you got started into the Fix Your Funnel program, as well as being a certified, and you are one of four, is that right? Fix Your Funnel certified consultants. That's what the website tells me. So if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started online in 1998 when I built my first website. Been marketing online pretty much off and on since then. In 2014, I decided to take my knowledge that I learned from doing stuff for myself and help other businesses expand their marketing and use the internet to get more leads and close more sales.
Okay. And so you've been in business since 2014, and how long have you been using Fix Your Funnel?
I've been using Fix Your Funnel since 2015.
Okay. And I don't know how long they have been in business, but I'm assuming that you must be one of
2012.
Okay. So you've been with them a long time.
I've been with them a long time, yes.
So if you don't know how to do it, then it may not really be a thing.
If I don't know how to do it, I know who to talk to get it so that we can do it.
Fantastic. That's all I need to hear. So, well, you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording here, and you were just talking about some best practices and various things. So I kind of had some questions here, and the first thing I wanted us to kind of talk about was why, as you are funneling people into your business, why getting cell phone numbers instead of just emails is important.
Well, Nick, a lot of people sit there and think that the more information I ask for from the people up front, the harder it's going to be to get people to convert. But the truth of the matter is, the more information you ask and the more compelling your offer is, they're going to fill out whatever information they need to if your offer is compelling enough. So if you're just sitting there saying, save 5% on your insurance or something simple like that, that's not a very compelling offer. But if you have a compelling offer like how to sit there and use your insurance to secure your retirement so that you don't have to worry about what's going to happen to your family after you're gone, then that's a more compelling offer, and you can get all the information you need. When you're planning your lead capture, you want to make sure you plan for the way you're going to sell. So if you're going to be trying to sell by email, then really all you need is their name and their email. But most people know, especially in insurance or financial advisors, know that in order to sell that person, I either need to get them on the phone or I need to get them into my office.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk for a minute about, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you made a good point that I wanted to make sure that we kind of hammered home. And I've seen various surveys and statistics and articles about the differences between open rates on emails versus on text messages. And there being a humongous, like gigantic chasm in between the two as far as what the average open rate. And I realize averages are probably not the best way to talk about it because every campaign can have different open rates for different reasons. But still, I think it's compelling to talk about just the general difference between an open rate on an email versus on a text message.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, The average open rate on an email is roughly 20% and going down every day. I mean, it's getting harder and harder to get into the prospect's email inbox, especially when you don't email that often or you haven't emailed that contact in a long period of time. That email address could go bad, and then you sit there and start sending a bunch of emails to people that aren't engaging with your email content, and that lowers your email reputation, which means it makes it that much harder to get into their inbox.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So email open rates, 20, maybe if you're lucky and have a very engaged list, 30%, versus text messaging. Everybody walks around with their phone in front of them today. How many of you get a text message and don't look at it?
I'm not raising my hand because that's not the case for me.
Yeah, exactly. So text messages have an average open rate of over 85%.
Yeah, I've seen it in some places as people saying as high as 90 or 95% is what I have seen. I guess it depends on the, the survey or the article you read, I suppose. But
yeah, a lot depends on the source of the material, but I like to go a little bit more conservative and say 80 to 85%,
okay.
Just because there's some people, they may not open it right away, but they open it eventually.
Okay.
But for the most part, 80 to 85% of the people are going to sit there and open that email within a minute of it coming in. I mean, not email, but text message, within a minute of it coming in.
So let me, all of that saying getting that information is really important. So speak a little bit to the conversation about, and I have had this conversation with fellow insurance agents, especially as it comes to, lead capture forms, or if they're doing some sort of lead generation campaign, and people are like, well, if I put the phone number and ask them for their cell phone number, they're not going to fill out my form. And my theory on it always has been, well, perhaps that's not the client that you really want. If that's the information you feel like you need to best market to your people, maybe that's not the client you actually want. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about how, if people feel that way about, they just don't feel like the leads are going to come in if they ask for that cell phone number, how you can kind of overcome that. Like what kind of things can you do? Ooh, an example. I love examples.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is simple lead form inside Facebook.
Okay.
So you see, I'm asking for name, email, phone number. I ask them a question. Is it okay if we text you the checklist? And how would you like your demo? So that's 5 questions. I got an 80% opt-in rate on this. Out of that 80% opt-in rate, 90% of the people said it was okay to text them the checklist, which gives you permission to send them subsequent follow-up texts. So that's insane. 95% of the people give you that information. And the nice thing about these lead forms, most of the information is accurate. You're not going to get them over typing a bogus name. A lot of times the email address may be old or outdated because people don't update their email address in Facebook. But one thing that's always current is their mobile phone number, because Facebook uses that to validate if you lose your password or lock yourself out of your account. So the mobile phone number is almost always accurate inside the Facebook data that they pre-populate. The other thing about these lead forms is nowadays, 90% or more of your traffic to your landing page is on a mobile device. Everybody knows how big of a pain in the butt it is to sit there and have to type your name and your email and your phone number on your phone. With the lead forms, it's automatically populated. So all they have to do is go through and say, yes, you can text me and I want the demo slow over a period of time. And then they click submit and then it's done.
Well, and one of the things that I often counsel my clients on, especially when we talk about lead forms and lead pages and that kind of stuff, is you also have to think about what are you offering? What kind of client are you looking for? And, in the world of insurance, that depending upon the type of product that you're, trying to sell, or the type of offer that you're trying to give, a lot of what we talk about is, do you want a really engaged client that really is interested in getting a quote today? Or are you looking for people that just maybe sort of might be interested maybe down the road? And I find that while the lead form from Facebook is very effective and gets a pretty great opt-in rate, I find that if you don't have a very exact follow-up procedure with text messages and or emails and other things, that those people are not going to engage with you very easily, versus if you do some sort of like lead page or landing page off Facebook, you're going to get a lower response rate, but you may get people that have a little bit more buy-in because they had to go in and actually type that information out. I don't know, what's your experience in that area?
One thing about off Facebook experiences,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook wants to keep you people on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit there and start sending people off of Facebook onto a landing page, and that landing page loads slow,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is going to penalize your ad. If people go there and then they bounce right back, Facebook's going to penalize that ad. Unless you're getting real good engagement on that offsite landing page,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be paying more per click and more per lead than you are keeping them on Facebook.
Okay, that's good. I think that's good advice.
The other thing to keep in mind is nowadays most people are on mobile devices.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on a mobile device, your load time is a lot slower than it is if you're on a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
For every second over 2 seconds that takes for that landing page to load, you lose 7% of your potential leads. So if your landing page takes 5 seconds to load, you've already lost 20% of your potential leads before they even start opting in.
Got it. So you're
1 in 5 is going to bounce and never fill out that form. So now instead of 5 people, you're down to 4.
Yeah. So if you're going off of Facebook, you're potentially, flushing some of that, your hard-earned effort down the tube that you already paid for it because they clicked the ad. So you're flushing that work. So unless you have a really compelling offer, or you have to have them go off of Facebook, keeping them on the Facebook lead form seems like it's going to benefit most businesses.
Yeah, and I mean, to your point about a more engaged and qualified prospect,
mm-hmm.
when you start having these additional questions, and I wouldn't recommend going over 5,
mm-hmm.
but if you have 2 or 3 questions, they're having to go in, and those questions aren't physically answered automatically. So they have to go in and answer those questions. So that's going to give you a more engaged prospect on that page.
Okay.
And if you're going to be texting them, the one thing you need to have is something that's like an opt-in for text, something along the lines of, is it okay if we text you?
So making sure you're giving them the opportunity to say no.
Exactly.
Okay.
And most people are going to sit there and say yes. Like I said, with this one, I was getting 90% of the people saying yes to texting me.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the other best practices. So now that you have acquired the lead and you have determined that they do want to let you text them, they're going to accept the text messages. We've learned that it's obvious that having people on a texting campaign is going to be really important to your business. Talk about some of the best practices as it relates to text campaigns and things you should do and shouldn't do.
Well, one thing you want to be real careful about is respecting the personal nature of the text. So you don't want to sit there and start spamming them and sending them a bunch of text, one right after the other. So what I recommend generally is sending a welcome text saying, thank you, we got your information. Here's what we promised you. But the other thing you want to do is when you send a text message, and I'll go into one of these here. You see this down here on the bottom where it has my name?
Mm-hmm.
So what that is that's a V card. So
Okay.
what that does is it has all my contact information, my name, my email, my phone number, and my picture.
Okay.
So if they open that, it will save it to their phone, so that when I call from one of the numbers that are on my V card, my name shows up.
And they know you're a real person, not some sort of...
And they know you're a real person, yeah. And how more likely are you to sit there and answer the phone from a number that is showing up their name and you know who it is, versus just a generic number that you don't know who this is?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah. If your face popped up, I'd be like, "Where did his face come from?" And okay,
yeah. But that's the thing. The more personal you can make the experience, the better off you are. Because sales boils down to one thing: we're humans. We need to interact and converse in order to connect. And unless I have a connection with you, I'm not going to buy anything from you.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about, so now that we've kind of worked all of that, let's talk a little bit about why you've chosen to be with Fix Your Funnels and why you use it over, I mean, everybody knows there are probably 10 different text messaging platforms that we could talk about on this, on this call. I mean, I've used a couple of them. I know you've probably used more than that, I'm sure. But let's talk about why you use Fix Your Funnels for your reason, as well as for everyone else's.
I use Fix Your Funnel for one main reason. Because on my phone, I have an app for Fix Your Funnel. And if someone's texting and I can see the conversation, and if I want to jump in instead of letting the automated stuff take over, I can jump in and start answering their questions live.
Okay.
And that mobile app sends the text from the same number that they've been texting instead of sending it from my cell phone. So it gives me that benefit of being able to have a live conversation with them.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's helpful. That's helpful information to have. So you like the functionality as far as the ability to get started with Fix Your Funnels. Is there, because I know, especially in the insurance world, a lot of the people that I work with, they don't have a ton of time to be able to commit weeks or sometimes months to learning some sort of piece of new software. So do you find that it's easy to get started? Are there lots of good tools to, if you want to do it yourself, if you don't want to use a consultant like you, can you get this going on yourself if you have a fair amount of technical knowledge?
If you have a fair amount of technical knowledge, you can get the basics going with basic texting set up in less than 2 hours.
Okay. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you wanted to do, broadcast messages or various campaigns and stuff,
then it gets more complex, and depending on your level of knowledge, it'll take you a while, but they have very good tutorials inside the software too.
Okay.
And the nice thing I love about Fix Your Funnel, their support is top notch.
Okay.
So if I have a problem, I can sit there and get on with their support and generally have it answered within a couple hours. If it's something technical where they have to go to development, then you're looking at a day or so. But generally they get stuff fixed and working or give me a response on how to do something very quickly.
Okay. So I know one of the things that you and I talked about a little bit was why you use fix your funnels, and we kind of went over that. But the other thing I'm curious about is I know fix your funnels has other, obviously they have a V card feature, which we just looked at, but I know they have other features that they use besides just the, the quote unquote texting options. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So Fix Your Funnel has a lot of stuff. They have your messaging where you can send a broadcast, handle people that have opted out. They have what they call campaign builder messages where you can set up a flow inside your email marketing platform, via Active Campaign or Infusionsoft or Drip or HubSpot.
Mm-hmm.
To call these campaign messages so that you can automate the sending out of text messages along with your emails and stuff. So it's a coordinated effort and in sync.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing, if you're doing that, I don't recommend sending an email and then immediately sending a text.
Okay.
What I usually do is I send them a text message, then I'll wait an hour and then send an email follow-up. And then I have a way so that if they respond and take the desired action based on the text message, they don't get that email follow-up.
Got it.
So that way you can sit there and send them the information and move them along through your funnel without becoming a pest.
Okay. And you're still making it personal and you're still doing the follow-up, but you're not annoying the crap out of them.
Exactly. And another thing that I like to do is sometimes, depending on the situation, I'll reverse that and send the email first,
Mm-hmm.
then send a text message. And in the text message, I'll say, hey, I just sent you an email. Go take a look at it and let me know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
That does two things. One, it gets them engaged with your email, which increases your email reputation, which increases your likelihood of getting better email deliverability, because the email service providers are seeing that people are engaging with your email and actually interacting with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it increases that engagement, which helps increase your inbox potential and your sender reputation.
So you made mention earlier about Active Campaign. Now, my understanding, and again, I don't use Fix Your Funnels at this moment, but maybe I should now based on today's conversation. But Fix Your Funnels is intended to work exclusively with Infusionsoft or Keep, which is its new name. That's
right.
Correct?
Yeah. Fix Your Funnels is meant specifically to work with Infusionsoft Keep.
Okay.
But they have Yeti Text, which is meant to work with Active Campaign, Drip, HubSpot.
Okay.
And they're working on some other integrations for that.
Okay. And I've, I have been through the webinar and like not the training, but the demos for Fix Your Funnel. And based on everything I'm seeing here, it looks very, very similar. I know that HubSpot and Drip and Active Campaign have different features and different protocols than Keep does. So I know that they're not quite the same, but I think there is a ton of similarity there. So I would say if you are not an Infusionsoft user, but maybe one of those, definitely give it a look. I know the Yeti Text people were super helpful to me when I had questions about it. So that's about all I know, unfortunately, in that area.
I mean, from a messaging standpoint with text messaging, the capabilities are on par.
Okay.
Where Fix Your Funnel is a little different is it has a built-in phone dialer that you can get.
Okay.
It integrates with Infusionsoft so that you can sit there and make phone calls and tag people based on what action they took, whether you left a voicemail or you need to follow up with them in 30 days or they're in the quoting process now, so that you can sit there and trigger automation based on the outcomes of your phone calls.
Okay, that would be super helpful, especially in my market of insurance agents. I could see a lot of insurance agents finding that really useful.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the dialer is you can sit there and you bring up once you have it set up, you bring up the list of people you need to call today, and you just sit there and go through them, and then you just disposition them, and it sits there and puts it right into the information right into Infusionsoft.
Oh, okay. So, well, I think this has all been super informative, and I tried not to make this a super fix your funnel commercial, like more actually offering value to people as opposed to just saying, here, watch our 7-hour diatribe on why fix your funnels is the best. Like I don't work for them, so I don't make anything out of this. So, but I really just wanted to make sure that people knew that this was a really great option for them if it lined up with their budget and with their team. So talk a little bit. I'll give you time to kind of plug your pluggables here about what you can offer to them. And certainly I'm not an expert, so don't call me on Fix Your Funnel. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say call Robert. He's the guy. So kind of plug us what you can do for us. Why people should get in touch with you about helping with their funneling processes.
Well, one, I can help you set up and make sure that you're following best practices as far as getting your messages out in a timely manner and not going overboard and trying to sit there and send them a message every hour for the next 5 hours versus sending them one welcome message and then maybe another message delivering the content that they asked for, and then let them engage with you. The other nice thing that I can help people set up for is if you're talking to people, maybe giving a presentation at a seminar on retirement or insurance, you sit there and say, okay, guys, if you want to learn more, text strategy to XYZ number. And in that way, it sits there and you can set up an automated flow that gets their name and their email, plus you already have their phone number. You can introduce yourself and get them into your system so that you can follow up with them later and make a potential sale.
I'll sign up for that. That sounds fantastic. Well, Robert, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me about this, and we'll make sure that people have your contact information if they want it. And I know you can also go to the Fix Your Funnel website. In fact, I'll share my screen really quick and just show people that your bright, smiling, shining face. Here we are. All right. Can't see that, can we?
Yeah, we can see it.
Can we see it? There's your lovely face right there. There's your phone number. You can click here for the NitroGo Marketing website, and hooray.